Good morning, everyone. This is Nathan Lindorf with The Rational Independent. For today's Reddit rant, we are going to an outlet I'm not familiar with. This is The Advocate. Headline: Montana transgender representative Zephyr's girlfriend foils swatting attempt. We're going to go ahead and we're going to dive right into the body of the article. A transgender journalist in a relationship with Montana's sole elected trans legislature, Representative Zephyr, thwarted a swatting attempt at her Maryland residence. She credits contacting local police months ago for the incident not ending in violence. There's also a text from the state representative. Someone just attempted to swat my girlfriend. Those who hate trans people are doing everything in their power to silence and harm us, but we will not be deterred. That's the lion's share of the article. There's some additional details, but that pretty well covers the substance of the article. So for my 2 cents, there's a couple of layers to this issue. First, let's talk about probably the most important layer, which is public safety. Sometimes it baffles me how much the world has changed in just a couple generations. When I was growing up, I'm only 41, I'm not that old. We used to have phone books, publicly available books that gave everyone your name and your address and your phone number that they could just call whenever they wanted. In fact, it was a big deal if you were famous enough to be unlisted, that you would go through the hassle of going to the phone book company and saying, please don't tell everyone for free where I live. That was 30 years ago, not that long ago. Now, we live in a world where if your address is shared with people on the internet, you're going to have crazy people messing with you, maybe even causing danger. Let's talk about swatting and let's talk about trolls. For those of you who have had the fortune of not having to worry about swatting personally, swatting is a process whereby someone gets a hold of your address or your personal information, something to identify you. And then they call the police and make a false bomb threat. They make a hostage claim. They claim someone is in danger. You need to go in hot. You need to save someone, whatever. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to induce the local SWAT teams, the local hostage rescue teams, whatever you want to call it, to basically crash down the door of a private residence in an effort to what they think is saving someone, but really you're harassing someone. You're putting them in danger. If I get woken up in the middle of the night by someone breaking my door down, I have weapons in my house. I mean, it's not unreasonable to think that there's at least a chance that without any malice, we end up in a situation where I've shot an officer or an officer shot me, even though it's just a complete mistake. Swatting is serious business. And in a lot of jurisdictions, it's a felony, as it should be, because you're putting officers in danger, you're putting citizens in danger, you're disturbing the peace. You are using a proxy to try and cause violence to someone you don't agree with politically. It is beyond the pale. It's not acceptable. So for anyone who's tempted to do that or think that it's a funny joke or whatever, stop it. It's dangerous. So that's one layer. And here is a point of agreement, because it looks like this activist representative that we've talked about and their partner were swatted by someone after getting their address doxxed. Doxxing is not okay. Swatting is not okay. I think we both agree with that. So hey, point of agreement. Yay. Reasonable people unite. Stop swatting people. Now, for those of you who haven't necessarily looked at this for too much, swatting is not a partisan issue. Tim Pool has famously in the last few months been swatted something like 20 times. I mean, it's a little ridiculous. Different jurisdictions, different enforcement bodies, different types of call-ins. It's not okay. And it happens on both sides of the aisle. It's a harassment tactic. It's also one of the reasons why I'm an advocate for local policing as opposed to federalized, militarized policing. Because local policing involves a granular enough organization level that they know who they're dealing with. They know who they're talking about. They know who they're aware of the culture of the community, of the environment. They know a call that makes sense and they know a call that doesn't make sense. There's a certain domain knowledge that's available to that kind of local policing that you lose once you go to a larger organizational level. It becomes more impersonal the larger the organizational level. Now that we've covered a point of agreement, It's time to step to the next level of this article, which there is no agreement. Biology is true. You can have mental confusion. You can have mental disorders. You can have mental illness. You can be in a tremendous amount of pain. You can even just enjoy the spotlight, the feeling of specialness that comes from violating gender norms. Go for it. Gender norms are social construct. Feel free to push back on that as much as you want. But a man is a man and a woman is a woman. It doesn't matter if you're dressed in sequins. It doesn't matter if you're wearing makeup. It doesn't matter if you're wearing, 4-inch heels or whatever. No amount of outside accoutrement, no amount of affected behavior, changing your voice, changing your mannerisms, can change biology. No amount of surgical manipulation, no matter how clever and refined, can change your chromosomes, can change your genetic coding. And more fundamentally, if you want to take it to a religious level, can change the spirit that's inside your body. Life is precious and unique, and Scripture teaches us, male and female created he them. You're either a boy or a girl. That is biology. That is spiritual truth. It probably is going to make you cranky and uncomfortable to hear that. I'm sorry, but it's still true. In this article, the reporter is definitely LGBT friendly, gender deviance friendly, and you can tell that because they are very, very intentional with their use of pronouns throughout the article. Lots of she's and hers, even repetitive pronouns within a single sentence, even when it's not required. They want to drive home that point that they are using this person's preferred pronouns. But in the interest of truth, we have a person who is an elected representative in Missoula, I believe, for the Montana State House, who's been acting as an activist, not really following normal House procedure and decorum, and has gotten in trouble with the House rules for that. Sorry, that's how representative bodies work. You got to follow the rules. Everybody has to follow the rules, or else you just have a mob. This person is a biological male. They've changed their name. They've changed their hairstyle. They've had some surgical modifications done. This is a biological male, and they can't change that. That's just true. Their self-described girlfriend is also a biological male. That's also true. So what we have is two men in some sort of a relationship with each other. I'm assuming there's a measure of romance in there, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to dig into their personal business too much, but if you live together, you can infer certain things. The most accurate description that I could provide then is that these are two gay men who live together and have very aggressive political stances. That's what's going on here. With their aggressive politics, they've made some enemies. That's what happens when you make aggressive political stances public, when you start pushing things out. Simple truth is, even with this silly little video channel, it's probably not going to be that long before I start making enemies, because when you put yourself out on the internet, you put yourself in contact with crazy people of all stripes and varieties, of all political persuasions. And crazy people are more likely to do violence or to threaten violence. This comes with the territory. Your options are engage with politics and deal with the crazies, or keep silent and be a private citizen. If you're going to be a public figure, you're going to come under scrutiny. It doesn't matter what your politics are. If you think that you're the only one being mistreated, being harassed by their political opponents, then you're naive. This happens across the board. We have a gay couple with aggressive political positions that they are actively promoting out in the world, who got doxxed, and after getting doxxed, got swatted. The doxxing is not okay. The swatting is not okay. They are more than free to live their lives. They are consenting adults. They can do whatever they want to their own bodies and to each other's bodies, until they start advocating for mandating state-enforced changes to minor children. Then it's gone from their business to my business, which is why I'm talking about it in the first place. If you want to be a public figure, go for it. When you do that, you are taking on the opportunity to make some income, the opportunity to raise your profile, to network with additional people, to make connections you wouldn't otherwise be able to make. And along with that, the responsibility of managing crazy people who come into your orbit. Stalkers, death threats, harassment. This happens. This is part of being a public figure. This isn't new. You're not special. You are free to have your own life, to make your own choices, to have your own politics, and to express them forcefully, however you want, until you start taking political positions that are going to end up controlling my family, my children, my parenting choices, and you start to threaten that. I am going to have to oppose you then. Now, I have no interest in harassing people. I have no interest in doxing people. That doesn't persuade. That doesn't fix anything. But I'm going to counteract your arguments. I'm going to push back on what you're saying. That's probably going to make more people cranky with me. Thus is the nature of the beast. That's my Reddit rant for today. Good luck out there.